Hey, what's up?
Yo,
How's everybody doing today?
What's going on, Charlotte? What's up, y'all?
What's up, world? Look, I'm back from a mental health vacation to the hippie capital of North Carolina, Asheville, which is always interesting. Jamal, how was your weekend? I listened to the interview on ESPN 730, man. That was awesome.
Hey, excuse me, guys. Hold on for a second. I got a call from my agent real quick, man. Hold on for a second, man. Yeah, man. I'm doing the show right now. I can't talk to you right now. We'll discuss business later. Thank you. Yeah, man. So,
Why are you like? Why are
really, really good time with Vasti on Keep Blitzing on Friday, man. For those of you who missed it, you can check it out on Carolina Blitz. She is anywhere you can find podcasts. So check me out on Carolina Blitz.
Kaza, how was your weekend, sir?
pretty good. So far, so good. We'll see how tonight go. I got to stay up, watch the Bugs. These 10 o'clock games be here. I'm too old.
Man,
Dude, these 10 o'clock games hurt, bro. I'll be hurting in the morning, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and just tough it out tonight, man.
Gotcha. All right, guys. So this past week we went 1-2 with losses to Red Hot Utah, which was expected, and they just made another 3. I lost to Golden State, Draymond's revenge game. I often wonder why he can't be that engaged all the time. I would be quite upset if I was a Warriors fan.
It makes you wonder, don't it?
Yeah, and then we had a big win versus Phoenix. It was a Devin Booker dirty game. We won that one, and we finished the week 1-2. So, guys, what were your thoughts on this weekend? And your thoughts so far on this road trip? Tonight we do have the Sacramento Kings at 10 p.m.
I thought this week is decent. I think what we all want out of this road trip realistically is just to finish the road trip at 500, and we're off to a good start so far. It's a 6-game road trip. The Phoenix game was highly entertaining. I was really proud of our guys from showing resilience once again. James Borrego has also mentioned the same thing about how resilient this team is. You know, we're down 17. It didn't look good, man, but we got a really good performance from LaMelo Ball and Malik Monk, man, and just hung around and threw some really, I hate bringing this up, man, but it was such a prevalent part of the game, man. But just threw some really questionable refereeing, man, through a lot. We went through a lot to chip into that 7-point lead to ultimately get the win, and just really proud of our guys for showing our resilience, man.
Kaza.
Yeah, to go 3-3 on this trip would be a massive accomplishment for this team. We expect the Hornets to lose the games they're supposed to lose and win the game they're supposed to win. And they're looking on the schedule. There's not a lot of games in this road trip that they're supposed to win, and they've already stolen one that they probably shouldn't have won against the Suns. So I think so far, the road trip is a success. Cody Zeller's down again, and people don't want to hear this, but the Hornets are.
We're going to miss him. We are already missing him.
They're much worse. I mean, you think it's a coincidence? Cody Zeller done playing. Kelly Oubre gets 6 dunks in the first quarter.
About that, Kaza. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro, but I about that, man. Let me tell you something. Going into the Golden State game, I honestly had it pegged as a loss. I knew the Warriors were going to come out a little fired up. But let me say, I really didn't like the fact that in the first quarter in particular, that we got punked. We really got punked in the first quarter. There's no excuse for a guard to get 6 dunks in the quarter, man. Like, just none. And if that doesn't scream a need for another center, I don't know what does. Seriously.
Jamal, hold that center thought for later on.
I know we're gonna get to it. I know we'll get to it.
Golden State has something to prove. They were mad about the previous loss. They felt that was a game they should have won. The Hornets stole one.
Yeah.
Draymond had said before the game he was going to have the game of his life. He did. Steph Curry was back. And the Hornets, ironically, played better perimeter defense maybe than they've played all season.
Absolutely.
but then they couldn't stop the Warriors inside because there was nobody there to stop anyone, and that's even Del Curry said during the podcast, and this is something the Hornets fans need to understand when it comes to defense. You got to pick your poison.
Yeah.
You can't defend everything. You're either going to give teams a three, or you're going to give them the inside. And I think that the coaching staff has decided we would much rather teams take the lower percentage shot. 3 points, a low percentage shot. Teams, the NBA average is about 36%. And I think they figure we would much rather give up, the low percentage shot rather than get dominated on the inside like they did against Golden State. And that ended up actually being the story of the game. The Hornets hung in there because they shot the three better than Golden State. Go figure. But in the end, Steph Curry started doing Steph Curry stuff. And
Draymond opposed his will, man.
The Phoenix game was possibly the most light-skinned game in the history of the NBA. A lot of light-skinned shenanigans. Devin Booker and LaMelo Ball. That was another one the Hornets stole. Not that they should have. I felt like in the end they did enough to win that game, but at the very, very end, LaMelo Ball made a rookie mistake that almost cost his game by fouling Chris Paul when we could have just let them shoot, and that would have been the end of the game. But LaMelo's full of this youthful energy. He just got back, played defense, and Chris Paul is a veteran's vet, and he took advantage and got the foul call. And then, the Hornets got bailed out because the refs chose not to call that foul on Gordon Hayward on Devin Booker's final shot.
So, Kaz, let me ask you a question. Do you think, because obviously that was an offensive foul on Devin Booker, leading with his elbow.
Think it was a makeup call?
It was a make good.
So I think it was a makeup call. Although I checked the NBA last 2-minute report from that game, and they stated, get this, y'all. They stated in the report, go look it up on NBA.com, that Gordon Hayward leaned into Devin Booker on that shot.
Where? I'm not blind. Where did that happen?
I had to read it again to make sure, because they give a pretty detailed breakdown of every call and whether the refs got it right or not. And that one, they said the referees made the correct call because Gordon Hayward leaned into Devin Booker, therefore not giving him space to shoot. But we all saw Devin Booker lean into Gordon Hayward and then elbow him in the face.
And then on top of that, let's just say, them not calling the foul on Gordon Hayward was a makeup call. It still doesn't make up for the fact that Terry Rozier got hit in the face in front of the referee and didn't get a call on the three-pointer. It still doesn't make up for the fact that Cody Zeller was completely set when he took a charge against Devin Booker, but they somehow find a way to reverse that call. So y'all know that one of my weaknesses is arguing with idiots on the internet. It's a weakness of mine that I have confronted, and I cannot help I have not grown up past that point yet. And I'm just not here for the Phoenix Suns fans who wanted to cry about the calls they didn't get, because it went both ways. It did. I don't understand how you can watch that and not say that.
No, I mean, that was Phoenix's game to win. I don't want to hear any excuses from them. The Hornets came back.
Tried to give it to them.
Yeah, came back against a better team and won the game, which was a huge win that they needed after getting decimated by the Jazz 2 nights before. That was just
they just made another 3.
Yeah, fans, you can't look at those games are outliers. But Utah is the hottest team in the league. They're the best team in the league. You cannot use a game like that to gauge the performance of the Hornets. Now we all know the Hornets' 3-point shooting defense is somewhat of an issue, but you can't gauge that against the best 3-point shooting team in the league. I mean, 2 nights after that, Houston destroyed the LA Lakers, the team that everyone's got picked to win another championship. Not Houston, I'm sorry, Utah. Okay. Utah just destroyed them. You really can't look at the Hornets game and then indicate, the Hornets might have won that if they played better 3 defense. No, they wouldn't have won that. I don't think there's any way that they could have competed with the Jazz.
And not only that, man. I mean, we know Utah's good. The record is what it is. But if we're just looking at basketball, if we're just looking at strictly basketball, man, they are so hard to guard. They are almost impossible to guard. You got Rudy Gobert, who is a big force in the middle. He may not be the most offensively polished, but you have to worry about him rolling so much to the basket after he sets a pick. It's hard to guard both. It's just like pick your poison. You're either going to let Rudy Gobert get a dunk, or you're going to try to prevent one of these guys from hitting threes, man. And it's so much easier said than done. I mean, we can look at it and say, man, they should have did this and they should have did that. But on the court, man, it's a different story, man. Those guys they're clicking, and it's really going to be hard to stop them.
Gotcha. Speaking of guys clicking, I'm going to transition. Speaking of guys clicking, Malik freaking Monk has been like a godsend right now, to especially to this bench. Over the past 5 games, he's had 25, 29, 27, and 23. What has gotten into Malik? Help me figure this out, guys. What has gotten into him, or what has gotten out of him?
He said it himself. He put in the work.
Yeah.
Fans don't want to believe that. Fans want to believe that Malik.
James Borrego just finally giving him minutes. That's all.
Yeah, Borrego told everyone Malik Monk was working his way back into the rotation and was putting in the work, and he would be back in the rotation. Now he's back in the rotation and he's contributing. Really, we shouldn't be surprised. Admittedly, I am a little surprised because normally we don't see guys that young have such massive drop-offs and then maintain and then come back and perform well. We saw, I know we talked about Dwayne Bacon a few weeks ago, but we saw what happened to him. He was put in this prominent role. He fell off. He couldn't maintain. Ended up losing that job to Devontae Graham. The Hornets, man, and I'm just thinking, watching like the Golden State game, man, imagine if we had Monk and Graham back on coming off the bench. Monk, Graham, Miles Bridges, man, that bench would be tough. That would be tough to defend.
Kaza, it is funny you mentioned the bench because I feel like we would have lost that game by 30 if it wasn't for the bench anyway. Even though we didn't have Devontae Graham, if without Malik Monk, without Miles Bridges, without the performance of the bench, I don't know where we would have been in that Warriors game, man. I mean, I don't want to say we were lucky to lose by 9 because in the second half, we did play better. We did play better perimeter defense. But without that bench in the first half, it would have really got ugly, I think, dude. And as far as Malik Monk goes, one interesting tidbit that I heard from him in the interview was he said he watched more film. He said he's watching more film, and like Kaza said, he's actually putting the work in. And what I'm noticing on the floor is he's become a little more patient. He's just taking better shots. He's not just kind of taking the first thing he sees. I actually love when he takes the ball to the basket because I think he puts so much pressure on the defense when he takes the ball to the basket a little more. And I just think a combination of all those things is why you're seeing such an uptick in Malik Monk's performance, man. Hopefully he can keep this up.
So, look, you guys know I have been very, very, very critical of Malik since he got here.
We know.
But, man, honestly, man, I just want to, congratulate this young man. I mean, you like Kaza said, you really don't see a lot of people bounce back from what he bounced back from and coming back to perform at this young of an age. Usually they have to go away for a while overseas or something like that, but he's really bouncing back, and I'm proud of him. And it's just so weird seeing him grow up before our eyes because he was so immature coming in, man. He Calipari even stated he wasn't ready. Malik wasn't ready, and now he's ready now. And
it's almost like coaching and developing. I'm gonna shut up.
I'm not going to shut up because something I'm going to repeat something I said on Friday on Keep Blitzing, man. I think there are some people, when it comes to the Malik Monk journey, I think there are some people who will look at Malik Monk's journey and say that the Hornets coddled Malik Monk. There's some people who will say that. I would say the opposite. I would just say they actually just showed some loyalty to Malik Monk. Mm-hmm. I was telling Vashti, I'm one of those people who cannot stop believing in Malik Monk's talent and his ability. You know what I mean? And I think that Mitch and Mike, especially Mike, kind of feel the same way. I just kind of feel like Mitch, Mike, and James Borrego kind of all feel like we just can't give up on this kid. And there was just a certain degree of loyalty there. And I think it's paying off for him now.
So let me ask you a question. Does the franchise reward him this offseason with a new contract?
Remains to be seen.
Keep in mind, you have to re-sign Devontae Graham.
Luckily for the Hornets, Malik Monk is not an unrestricted free agent this year. In fact, he's not even a restricted free agent. There's a qualifying offer. So they could, they'll probably make him a qualifying offer. I think the qualifying offer is a little over $7 million. He makes $5 million now. That $2 million is nothing to Mitch. The Hornets are going to make him a qualifying offer and let him go in restricted free agency and then see what the market is for him, which would be the smart thing for the Hornets to do. Do not extend. I don't care if Malik Monk starts averaging 50 a game. You do not extend him until it's time to extend him. We've seen it too many times in the NBA. You pay a guy, and then I'm not saying that would happen with Malik Monk. In fact, I think the opposite would happen. But like you said, you got to pay Devontae. You're going to have to pay Miles at some point. Why not just wait until the market for Malik Monk opens up, which is going to happen during his restricted free agency? And I fully expect at that point the Hornets to match whatever offer Malik Monk gets from other teams.
I mean, look, man, I agree. A lot of teams are going to have cap space, and you can match the offer, but you need to be cognizant of what the offer is and how it affects your future cap space. So Mitch has a lot of thinking and planning to do for the offseason because
Fortunately, he's got 2 more years. I think the Hornets, the qualifying offer, I think will be a moot point this season. Malik Monk will be a Hornet next season. Next offseason, when he's a restricted free agent, I think is going to be is going to be interesting because we know that teams at one point were interested in Malik Monk. His name was in every trade discussion, and I think the Hornets didn't want to give him up. Also, that brings up the question about Monk. He's going to be in control of his own future after he's a restricted free agent. So, does he look at the Hornets with a sense of loyalty?
Kaza, my question to that is, how could he not?
Yeah,
I mean, they have stuck by him through everything, man.
The Hornets actually could have
a tripod generation. Like, I don't put anything past none of these kids under 25. I'm sorry.
I gotta think, and the Hornets, according to the CBA, they could have waived Malik Monk without penalty due to him failing the first part of the drug program. They chose not to. He comes back. He gets more minutes than he's ever gotten. I feel like if you're Malik Monk, and we've seen players do that. We saw Steph Curry do that with Golden State, actually. He signed a lowball deal with them because they traded Monta Ellis instead of him, despite the fact that Curry had developed these ankle injuries. I'm wondering if we might see the same thing with Malik Monk. If he might say, hey, I'm actually in a good situation here in Charlotte. Maybe I should do what I can to stay here. I don't know. A lot that remains to be seen.
Yeah, gotcha. So, guys, Cody Zeller is out again. We're roughly the 9th, 10th seed in the East right now.
We're actually 8 as it stands right now.
8 right now.
Yeah.
And so we're on that borderline. So right now we're in the playing game. If you're Mitch Kupchak, what do you do for big man help? Because if I see Bismack Biyombo fumble another ball under the rim again, I'm going to pull what little hair I have in my hair out. So, what is the answer at this point?
For those who are listening, this is an inside joke. We'll let you in on this a little later. But Kaza, Bismack Biyombo to me right now, 3%. I'm all but done. That's high. That's generous. I'm all but done, man.
I mean, look. Also, are the kids the answer? Is it Richards? Is it Vernon Carey? Or like, what?
I think he called up Richards. We talked about this on a previous show. But the G League fans, don't stop doing this. G League performance is not indicative of anything. It just isn't, because the G League, the talent gap between the G League and the NBA is massive. Okay,
Right.
What the G League does is it allows players to develop certain skill sets and stay sharp. Okay, because it's hard to stay sharp if you come to Charlotte and you're just sitting on the bench. You're not getting any run. It's hard to stay sharp. You go to the G League, you beat up on the people who are not as good, and that's what Richards is doing. He's beating up on those guys. So I do think at this point you don't lose that much by bringing Nick Richardson. I think the only issue with those guys is basketball IQ. I'll say this about Zeller, not so much Bismack, but he's got pretty high basketball IQ. We've seen Cody Zeller make some nice passes, excuse me, out of the screen and roll, cuts to the basket, things like that. Is Nick Richards going to be able to do those things? And those are the things that Borrego likes.
So let me ask you a question. Can Nick Richards catch the ball?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sold.
But now to bring both of your points home, man, it's just like with Bismack Biyombo, I mean, he's such a liability offensively. I mean, let's just call a spade, man. He doesn't give us anything on the offense. It's always a bonus when he catches the ball and dunks it. Like, that shouldn't be a bonus. That should be.
You don't like his little hook?
His little half hook, whatever the thing is cool sometimes, but we're not going to trust him to do that consistently, man. Defensively, man, I think he kind of overachieves for his size. Like I like his shot blocking. I like his intensity on the defensive end, but it's still not. He's still not the space eater we need. I know that's going to not make sense to some people, but you guys get it. But as far as calling Nick Richards up, man, here's what I'll say to that. I know fans are going to be like, oh, God, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to trust the brass that they know what they're doing when it comes to bringing up Nick Richards and Vernon Carey. To Kaz's point, man, there's no way I'm ever going to get excited about somebody's G League performance. I'm just not. Everybody's in the G League for a reason, man. I'm not going to get excited because Nick Richards scored 15 points in the damn G League game. I'm not, man. So when the brass at the Hornets, when they feel like Nick Richards is ready, they'll bring him up and we'll see what he has. But as far as bringing center help, today, guys, you know how in the Hornets group people make up these trades, these crazy trade scenarios. I actually have a trade scenario that I wanted to bring to the table. I rarely do this because I hate when people do this, but I'm going to do it today.
Look at your ass side-eyed.
Bismack Biyombo straight up for Mo Bamba. Let me tell you why. Both parties are, well, let me not say this. It looks like Mo Bamba is in a bit of a disgruntled situation with the Orlando Magic, okay? Bismack Biyombo has proved to be worthless to us, at least on the offensive end. Now, Bismack Biyombo, the Orlando Magic organization may say, you know what? I think we can get more out of Bismack than Charlotte did. Charlotte may look at Mo Bamba and be like, you know what? I think we can get more out of this younger talent than the Orlando Magic did. I think it works for both parties, honestly. I say go for it.
I say that's not going to happen because you're not attaching the first round pick to Biyombo.
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not.
And Mo Bamba's only in his third year. He's only 20, 21 years old. I'm not getting rid of a guy who had lingering effects from COVID, and it's just now kind of getting back for a old ass Bismack Biyombo. I'm just sorry, like that.
But Ronnie, isn't that kind of proving the point? Because the thing is, what are we realistically going to get for Bismack Biyombo, dude? You get what I'm saying? That's why I proposed that trade. It's not like we're going to get Jonas Valanciunas back for Bismack Biyombo. That's my point.
But look, if you're going to do that trade, like you might as well trade Whiteside for Biyombo because Whiteside has no value. Mo Bamba has value on the market.
That's the problem. I feel like someone like Mo Bamba is overvalued.
That's my point. I'm just like, really? Because I don't know, man. I just don't think he has as much value. Because what were you saying, man?
No, I don't. I wouldn't be opposed to that trade. In fact, I think fans would be happy over that trade if it happened. And I don't think the Orlando Magic would balk at it, but they would want something else in addition. Right. I'm not giving them a pick for Mo Bamba. No, like Jared Cousins has attached a second-round pick. Not for Mo Bamba. No. You don't get a pick for someone who is a fringe player at best. We'll tell you what. We'll give you Riller. You want Riller? We'll give you him.
Look, man. Maybe y'all might be ready to throw something at me, man. I say Bismack Biyombo and Caleb and Cody Martin. It's not like we're using Cody Martin right now.
Steve Clifford would love one of the Martins.
I bet you he would. Exactly. I bet you he would look at that and be like, I can use both of those guys.
Yeah, I think that would be a good deal. If I'm the Magic, I would entertain Bismack and Cody Martin.
But look, like I said, I normally hate bringing up trade scenarios, man, because, I like to discuss trades that are actually being reported instead of making up stuff. But I do know this, man. Mitch has got to do something by the break, bro, dog. I don't know if bringing up Nick Richards solves that problem or not, but the Hornets have got to address this problem, man. It's overdue.
Gotcha. So, guys, we're in the top three. Do you know what we're in the top three of?
Worst defensive 3% what is it? What are we
this is the NFL question, isn't it?
NFL question. Look, we're in Deshaun Watson's top three. So does that make you feel great that we might get Watson?
I am 50-50. Because on one hand, the Texans are just kind of hell-bent, at least on saying that Watson's not going anywhere.
He's not playing for them again.
He's not going to play for them again. I believe that. I believe that this thing is going to drag out to the very end, man. On the other hand, hell yeah, I'm excited because we're in the running. You know what I mean? Like that's been a change recently. We were not in the top three. So for us to be in the running for a game changer is pretty damn exciting. Now, let me say this. There was a report that came out this weekend saying that the Texans are looking for a 7-for-1 trade. Now, if it comes down to that, see ya. Goodbye. Nope. Sorry. We're good. Let's move on. So, yeah.
The problem is this. The Texans hold almost all the cards, at least till next season. Deshaun Watson still has 2 seasons on his contract. And, if next season they're not going to want him to leave as a free agent without getting something for him. But this season, if Deshaun Watson decides that he's going to sit, which the rumblings from his camp indicate that he'll sit rather than play this season. Sit. We've seen teams do it before. We saw the Bucks do it with Keyshawn Johnson once upon a time. I think they'll do it, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Deshaun Watson is going to end up sitting a season because the Texans they just want too much for him, and other teams aren't going to be willing to play. Now, next season, the Texans will not have as many cards in their hand because he'll be unrestricted. Well, there's no such thing as restricted free agency in the NFL, but he'll just be a free agent and he can go anywhere at the end of next season. And the Texans will not want to just let him go for nothing. So,
to me, it is so strange how that kind of relationship can exist between the organization and the quarterback. Because I look at it just from a very just simple standpoint. Like, if he doesn't want to be there, let him go, man. I get that you want a haul back from him, but if I'm the owner for the Texans or the GM or what have you, man, if I have a player that's that disgruntled, that has told me so many times I don't want to be here, what I do is I gauge the market a couple of times and I basically take the best offer that I get. It's that simple, man. And to me, there's just no use of holding on to someone who just doesn't want to be there. That's just weird.
I think for owners, it's the principle. Watson signed a big deal. There we go. He signed a new contract. They want him to honor his contract because realistically, Watson leaving puts the Texans in a really, really tough. You're back to square one. You had your franchise quarterback. Now he's gone.
Look. If you go back and think about it, you essentially chose your I don't know, team chaplain, whatever, Easterby, whatever, over these players. Like you let DeAndre Hopkins go for peanuts. Like you traded your whole draft stock for a average at best left tackle. Like they really invested in him in his well-being at this point?
And that's my problem, Rodney. It's just like it's almost like they're not taking any accountability for what they've done. You get what I'm saying? It's like they deserve some culpability in this saga as well. It's not like Deshaun Watson just woke up one day randomly and say, I just don't want to play for these guys. No, this has been building up until this point. So they've got to take some accountability for all this too, man.
Gotcha. So, guys, I'm gonna paint a picture for you guys. Imagine you're at somebody's camp and you see them, and look, you're a kid at their camp. You call them ass, and that he's gonna be poor soon. How would you react?
Cam handled it better than I would have.
Absolutely.
First of all, if I'm 6'6" and 250 pounds, and you gonna come talk to me like that, bruh, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna catch hands. Cam handled it way better than I would have. Asking the kid where his father was. Let me speak to your dad. That was really the best way Cam Newton could have handled it without completely backing down. The kid, he issued an apology afterwards because I think he realized that like going to an NFL player's 7-on-7 camp, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
It's a huge privilege. Like, you know how many kids would love to go hang out with Cam Newton, to play football with Cam Newton? And here you are acting an ass in front of a camera. Hey, you do it for the gram, right? Well, if I'm Cam, I would have taken the kid out of the camp. I mean, that kid's lucky Cam didn't do that. Cam could have been like, no, why don't you pack your bags and leave? He didn't do that. So that kid is lucky. And it's another instance of where, Cam Newton doesn't get enough credit for being a good dude. We'll talk about this in a little bit, with the interview, but he just doesn't get enough credit for being a good dude. I'm a good dude, punching a kid in the face.
The late great Bernie Mac, God rest his soul, he said he always believed in throat chops, and this would have applied to that kid. I don't know how I would have resisted chopping this little kid in the throat, man. Like the gall, the nerve of this little boy to come to a camp that you were invited to learn from one of the best at one point anyway. It's when I look at stuff like that, it makes me feel better about being the grumpy old man I am. Because I look at kids like that, and it's just like, see, that's why I don't like anybody under 25 for that reason right there. Because that boy would have got chopped in the throat and kicked out, and I would have talked to his daddy too. But in all seriousness, man, it just goes back. It brings me back to a point where I just say to myself, why do so many people have such vitriol against Cam Newton, especially when he was here? Like, it's just another layer to this guy of showing you that, no, man, this is a really good, sensible guy. He handled it perfectly. He handled it a lot better than I would have, man. I don't know if I could have controlled my outrage against this kid the way Cam Newton controlled his emotions.
I think people also, Cam seems very accessible. And I think that at these events, someone said in the comments, it's not the first time Cam has been heckled at one of his own events. But I think, Cam Newton is down there with the kids. He's not like sitting in a skybox.
So it kind of feels like these kids have a right to talk trash to him.
They feel like I can just talk shit to Cam Newton. You know what I'm saying? He's down here with us. And I'm sure there is some modicum of that. They might roast Cam a little. He roasts him back.
But because you and I both know there's a fine line between innocent little trash talk and disrespect. You call that man ass at his camp, like that's crossing the line. You get what I'm saying?
And to be honest with you, I'm gonna say this. Look, you can say whatever you want to say about me. They would never say that about a white former MVP in the NFL.
No.
Yeah,
You're right.
I didn't
You're
want to
right.
say it, but you're right. I couldn't imagine them saying that to Aaron Rodgers.
It's a culture of disrespect toward the black quarterback, and it's kind of like at the end of the day, we want respect for the black quarterback, but we don't respect the other black quarterbacks around. Like we still have the standard bearer of the white quarterback in our head. Like, this is the guy, he's untouchable, this and this. Oh, Cam is just one of us. Man, F that dude. Look,
Right.
Look, Cam won a national championship, has been the MVP, offensive rookie of the year, has almost 300 total touchdowns in the NFL. Look, you might not like the style that he plays with. That's not ass.
The bottom line is there's a short list of people who've accomplished close to the same things, man.
Gotcha. So
that kid, he's immortalized now.
For the wrong reasons.
20 years from now, when he's starting his shift at Family Dollar, sitting in the car wondering where he went wrong, he's gonna look at that video. No, I shouldn't say that. Family Dollar was a great season.
So, man, look, man. Cam was on I Am Athlete this week with Brendan Marshall, Fred Taylor, and my man Ocho Cinco. And man, look, man, I was talking to Vashti yesterday, man, and I was just saying that you've never seen Cam more open with any other former interview in Charlotte than I seen him open this week. Like, he ingratiated himself to more people with this interview, just truly being himself. And I feel as though the Charlotte media community robbed us of a chance to get to know the true, authentic Cam. So, what did you guys think about that interview?
Like I texted y'all while I was watching it, that was one of the best things I had watched sports related in a long, long time. Absolutely. I'll never understand how Cam Newton has haters. I will never.
It boggles my mind, man.
Yeah, I get it. He's a young, brash, black quarterback, but that's really the only thing you could really hold against Cam Newton as a person. I mean, if you want to talk about the way he dresses, that's stupid. I don't even entertain those conversations.
Really? Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, if you bring that up, you're a moron. But to listen to Cam talk during that interview and to say the things that he said, Cam Newton spoke truths as a rookie that we didn't want to hear. Mm-hmm. He essentially, in a nice way, called the Carolina Panthers losers. And he was right. We had a losing culture, losing mentality that he needed to change because Cam Newton was a winner, and he did that. So now, when he talks about, it's funny, he didn't mention the Panthers by name, of course, but he spoke some truths about the way he was treated when he was here. Super candid interview. Those in the comments that have not watched it, I highly recommend you go watch it.
Gotta watch it, man.
It's like an hour and 45 minutes, and I watched the whole thing. Him talking about being a Patriot, the Patriot way, Belichick system was also super enlightening.
Yeah,
because really very rarely do people talk that candidly about being a New England Patriot. Most time it's like some secret shit people talk about. Cam was very open about being a Patriot and what it meant to be a Patriot.
Jamal, did you see it too?
Yeah, I saw it, man. I'm laughing at Kaz's last comment, man, because I feel like whenever former players talking about playing for the Patriots, it's like some Illuminati shit. Like nobody ever opens up about what goes on behind closed doors in New England.
They got the checkerboard going on in the back.
Yeah, right. but it was just so refreshing to see Cam open up the way he did in that interview, man. A couple of points that were highlighted for me. Number one, saying that he intimidated his former franchise. Speaking of the Carolina Panthers, that was pretty easy to see. You know what I mean? And it was also a kind of heartbreaking and disappointing to hear him say that, because I've heard people in the past talk about the Panthers as an organization, especially when Jerry Richardson was here. About you guys remember when Jerry Richardson basically told Cam Newton, "Watch your haircut, be clean cut, no tattoos, blah 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 blah." And it's just like we heard that stuff, but we really didn't want to hear it because it's like, come on, man, like, can we not be this type of franchise? And looking back at it now, look how handcuffed Cam Newton must have felt. When I say handcuffed, I mean in a way where he couldn't express himself the way he ultimately wanted to express himself. He couldn't fully be the Cam Newton that he really wanted to be. He always had to be careful about how he answered certain questions, always had to be 100% careful how he presented himself to the Charlotte media, you know what I mean? And to hear him be so open in that setting, it was refreshing and disappointing at the same time. It's just like, I wish we would have got this Cam Newton in Charlotte, but ultimately I understand. I understand why he couldn't ultimately be himself when he was here.
See, I agree,
and that's something I've been saying for a while, actually.
I agree with that. And then also, I think that he's grown up too. I mean,
that too.
Once you have 4 kids, you deal with moving around the contracts and stuff like that, and just general life. I think he has more time to reflect, especially after that full season he missed in 2019. I mean, he's like hearing him talk about the cigar bar, the hat shop, and other stuff. It seems like he's kind of setting himself up for life after football.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I do think it's ironic that Bill Belichick, of all people, is allowing Cam to be himself.
Right.
Whereas,
and guys, real quick, man, that's a great point, because not only, does this kind of set the record straight on the type of person Cam Newton is, I also kind of felt like it kind of set the record on who Bill Belichick is. I think a lot of people have this image of Bill Belichick just being this stoic guy who doesn't give a shit about your feelings or anything else besides winning football games. And Cam Newton himself said Bill Belichick is a highly misunderstood guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's telling that he didn't mention Ron Rivera once in almost 2 hours, but he spoke about Bill Belichick multiple times during that interview. Yeah, and had nothing but great things to say about Bill Belichick and the Patriot way. Very, very telling.
And another interesting story, man, with that, man, when they talked about Aaron Hernandez, man, that was funny. That was just like, whoa. With Chico,
yeah. They immediately called him by his nickname as soon as they mentioned him.
Yeah,
that's an interesting story.
Kind of felt like they didn't want to say his real name.
Yeah, they're like that guy.
That guy. You remember that guy? Yeah.
But Jamal, man, I'm gonna let you take a hold of this story, man. It's near and dear to your heart. It deals with the changing surroundings. Go ahead, Jamal.
I'm speaking to people who have lived in Charlotte, let's say for over 10 years, and let's say, and this is probably more so for the age group of maybe 35 and up. There is a place that is near and dear to Charlotteans' heart that was demolished this weekend. It is Crystal's nightclub on the corner of the Plaza and Matheson Avenue. Now, for those of you watching, for those of you listening, maybe you've never heard of Crystal's, maybe you've never been there. So if you haven't, let me describe what you missed throughout the last 20 years in Charlotte. This was a place where it wasn't the most glamorous place in the world. They had it was very dark. At times it probably could be a little dangerous, but with all that being said, it was always a good time. Never, ever, ever once did I not have a good time when I went there. This was the after party place. This was like, hey, we went out, we stayed out till 2:30. Oh, there's a place that's open till 4:00. Let's go there. And that was Crystal's. Crystal's had the best, and I do mean the best, Caribbean food in the city that you could go eat at 3:00 in the morning when you're drunk. They had the best reggae DJs there, man. it's just I speak glowingly of this place because it's such a Charlotte staple in the Black community, man. And but more importantly, and in a lot more seriousness, it kind of just it's a microcosm to what's happening to Charlotte. And what I'm getting at is with all the gentrification and all the change that's going on in Charlotte, man. We all know what happens with gentrification is like it's sucking the soul out of the city. Charlotte already struggles when it comes to forming an identity. Charlotte struggles when it comes to cultural things. And it's just another step in making Charlotte more vanilla, more plain, taking soul out, taking the culture out. We all know there's probably going to be some damn brewery, a dog park, or something that's not going to be something that's not going to speak to the culture of Charlotte. And that's kind of the most disappointing part about the demolishment of Crystal's nightclub, man.
So, guys, I want to take a moment to reminisce. So, like, what are some of the things that you miss about, like, the old Charlotte? I'm going to start out, man. You had Crystals, but I used to go to Kilimanjaro sometimes, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
It was a good time. That's all I got to say. It was a good time.
Sunday nights, man. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And then, like, I miss, like, Eastland Mall, man, like going to the mall and the arcade, skating, walking through the mall, think you might get shot. I mean, it was fun, man. It was the little 2 levels and the little ring at the bottom. I miss that. I miss when UNCC was good in basketball, and it was like
Rodney, let me interrupt you real quick. There were fewer things fun in Charlotte than going to a UNCC Cincinnati game in the early 2000s, dude. This is back when Cincinnati had Kenyon Martin and Kenny Satterfield. Man, it was a good time.
Mark Johnson and everything.
Yeah,
yep,
absolutely. Yep.
Like I people don't realize, like, back in the day, a UNCC ticket was like the thing to get back in the
absolutely.
day. It was kind of rivaling on Hornets games a little bit. And speaking of that, man, the Hive, man, on Tavola, man, just it was just special, man. Like before Shin messed it up, it was great.
Yeah.
South End at night. I miss avoiding South End at night because it was scary.
See, that's one of the good things about gentrification we never talk about.
Sometimes it can improve some
right,
stuff.
Yeah. You weren't trying to go to Remount Road.
No, not at all.
To get some ramen at 2 in the morning. That just didn't exist back then. If you was going to Remount Road at 2 in the morning,
you get some crap.
Yeah, you get crap.
Nothing good.
And then, like, I remember Club Ice, man. This is gonna Club Ice every now and then, man. Park uptown on the Club Ice.
Rodney, believe it or not, I've been there a few times, but I know that's hard to believe. I used to go there, man. But but you know what, man, Kaiser, I know you'll feel me on this, man. And I'm just saying you, Kaiser, because you've been here as long as I have. That's the only reson I'm saying this. But
I've been here for 20 years.
We've been here for damn near 30, but the thing, but what we're all getting at here, I just feel like Charlotte was really fun before it became what I call fake sophisticated. Like, Charlotte was not a very sophisticated city, let's say in the early 2000s, late 90s. You know what I mean? I feel like everyone used to party together. Everyone kind of used to dwell together. There were no subcultures in Charlotte. It's not like, hey, man, I'm going to this spot for this. I'm going to this spot for that. No, we all party together. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of a yin and a yang. You know what I mean? It's like Charlotte has a little more something for everybody if you like different things, which is cool. But back in the day, it felt more inclusive back in the day. I'll say that much.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up here in Charlotte my entire life, except for my stint in the military. I've gone for about 6 years and I came back. Charlotte was a completely different city than when I remembered it. Most of my fondest memories of Charlotte are from my teenage years. East Charlotte. I mean, East Charlotte. It's funny, you go down East Charlotte now, and it's just a shell of what it used to be.
Because I tell people all the time, the east side of Charlotte used to be the nice side of town.
Yes, I mean East Charlotte.
It's like all the older people kind of died off.
Yeah, it's just the commerce over there. I used to work at the Chuck E. Cheese's on Almar Road, which now I would not recommend taking your children there. But back then it was nice. And my mom used to live at the time at these apartments on the corner of Harris and Almar Road. And I used to walk from work at night. I used to get off Chuck E. Cheese at like 11 o'clock at night and walk all the way down Almar Road to Harris, because back then, I mean, it was like nothing was going to happen. I was just walking down the street. Now walk down Harris Boulevard, Almar Road at 11 o'clock at night. See what happens. It's just weird to see the city go through those kind of changes as the demographics shift. What ends up happening is, and this happens to every city, as the unsavory elements that are closest to the inner city got pushed out by gentrification, they've got nowhere else to go except for places like the East Side, deeper into West Charlotte. And unfortunately, the property values just start to decrease, and developers don't want to put commerce over there anymore. And that's essentially what happened to Eastland Mall. Cats started shooting in the food court. Why would you put a store in Eastland Mall if you think there's the risk of death for your people, for your patrons and customers?
But let me push back just a little bit. I'm gonna push back just a bit, Kaz, on that point. and trust me, I don't necessarily think you're wrong for what you're saying. But I've been to other cities before, and I've seen commerce in the hood, so to speak. If you go to Philadelphia, there's still some cool stuff in some hoods. There's listen. Philadelphia sports complex, the Sixers, the Eagles, the Flyers, all those teams play in one complex. It is blocks from the hood. So the point I'm trying to make is sometimes, perfect example, Eastland Mall site. Y'all know I was on the train for putting the MLS site, around the Eastland Mall area, because I thoroughly believe sometimes you can take a chance and improve some of those circumstances around certain neighborhoods if you decide to put commerce in those same neighborhoods. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't know if Charlotte is ever going to,
I agree with that point. I was very disappointed when, I heard the news that they weren't going to put any of the Charlotte Football Club facilities on the old Eastern Mall site. And we've seen almost 2 decades now, somebody wanted to do something with the Eastern Mall site. Movie studios were interested, but the fact is where it is a problem. And we talked about this before on the show. The people that are making these decisions are not from Charlotte.
Are not from here, right?
They're not. They look at the demographics, they look at the crime statistics. They might drive down Central Avenue and say, you know what? This is not where we want to build our Charlotte Football Club headquarters. And they go back to David Tepper, who is not from the city. What's he supposed? I mean, how's he supposed to know? It's unfortunate though, because there are a lot of things I miss about the old Charlotte.
Fat City being one of them. I'm sure that's on your list.
So what's that?
I said, I'm sure Fat City is one of those places
Fat
on
City,
your list.
The Room, the Spot, the Graduate, all the old hip hop spots. That was a golden era for, at least for the hip hop scene in Charlotte, and there hasn't been anything like that since. A little bit with Crown Station for a while there, but I don't know if we'll ever go back to how it was in that regard as far as music in Charlotte.
Yeah,
y'all remember the Comedy Zone was on Independence?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen,
Laser Quest right next door. Yep.
But what was the pool hall club beside Laser Quest? Help me out, y'all. Champs. It was Champs.
Yes.
Listen.
No.
There was a historical thing that happened at Champs a few years ago. Not a few years ago, but a long time ago. William Floyd and Anthony Mason got in a famous fight at Champs one Saturday a long time ago. Ask any Charlotte OG who was there that night, man. It's like just in the Charlotte history books.
These young cats, they don't remember Independence Boulevard
was like this.
Everything like a 8-mile stretch. Remember the scoreboard? Did you ever go to the scoreboard?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
It was a restaurant that was made to look like the scoreboard, the Hornets scoreboard. Down there, all the way down by Windsor Square, like you're going into Matthews.
On the corner of Sardis. Yeah.
Yes, there used to just be like this string of clubs and spots and bars and businesses. And it's not that anymore. You go down Independence and
it looked like I don't like we all live on the west side now, so I really don't go to the east side like that anymore.
Because there's no reason to.
There's no reason to at all. But it's just like I went down Independence. I'm like, they did all that widening crap, and then like all the businesses are gone. It's just like,
well, the city made a major mistake decades ago when they decided to convert Independence Boulevard into Highway 74. If you guys remember, if anybody remembers, you used to be able to cross. You could cross Independence.
You could cross Independence.
Yeah, I remember walking from. There used to be a record store on Independence. I don't remember what it's called, but it had like a 50s motif, neon lights and everything. Mm-hmm. And a lot of kids a lot of us that went to Garinger used to hang out there and buy CDs. I used to walk across the street from there, across to Infinity's Inn, right across the street in that shopping center. That is no longer there. And the city decided, well, in order to alleviate traffic issues, we're going to make this Highway 74. We're going to expand it. We're going to put a bunch of land. And that killed Independence Boulevard because now there was no way by car to get to businesses unless you went all the way to no one wanted to do
all the way around and up and over and
no one wanted to do all that. And now they're trying to rectify those mistakes and I don't think they can.
It's too late.
The Independence Boulevard is sad, man. Just like y'all was saying, man, just that 5-6 mile stretch where it was just it was clubs you can go to and bars and Infinity's Inn and record stores and just anything you wanted to do. And all of it just looks so desolate over there now. Fun fact. There was a Holiday Inn that used to be on Independence Boulevard. Vivica Fox used to consistently throw parties at this little Holiday Inn on Independence Boulevard. It used to be like the thing to go to whenever she was in town and throw her parties there. I just miss those days, man. So yeah,
Independence Arena, man.
Independence Arena.
Yeah, Cricket Arena.
What is it? Is it still Bojangles now?
It's Bojangles now. Yeah.
Guys, so man, look, man, that was cool, man. Let's do shout outs, man.
Shout out to Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
The LeVar Ball skit in which it's funny because when he made the joke about Gastonia, nobody in the audience laughed because most of the audience on Saturday Night Live are either New Yorkers or tourists, so they didn't really get it. But everyone from this area I know laughed out loud when he said that Charlotte was the gateway to Gastonia. Really funny skit. I always like the Kenan Thompson's LeVar Ball impression as well. So shout out to them for giving Charlotte a little bit of.
Hey man, I got one problem with that skit. Just one. When he made the joke about the Mecklenburg County Pig Fair, like, nah, dude, we ain't no damn small country town be holding fairs. Like, nah, man, you ain't gonna pay. No. Listen, not 2020 Charlotte. No, I listen.
1990 Charlotte,
because it's not the first time that like some national show tried to make Charlotte look like we were some backwoods country town, man. So that part I didn't like.
My favorite joke of his when he said that Charlotte was the regional banking center of the world.
Yes, I saw that.
He said, bring both Carolinas together and make it with a Super
Carolina. Yeah.
Super Carolina. But shout out to Vashti for letting me on. Keep blitzing again. Had a good time, man. Really good interview. Really good conversation, man. Not really, man. I'm gonna be a co-host one day. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Shout out, as always, everyone in the chat room, man, supporting us, man. Remember, y'all are our marketing team. Please like, share, subscribe, man. That's it, man. I don't have any. Surprisingly, I don't have any shout outs this week.
I want to give a shout out to Jamal might not care, but Kaiser might know. Former No Limit artist Mac. He got out of jail after 20 years in prison.
I'm sorry, who?
Like everybody says that he was wrongly convicted. He got out of jail after 20 years. Again, shout out to Vashti, man. She is like dope. She was on our show yesterday, my other podcast with my wife, Cohort 1986, and she dropped some gems. Go ahead and check that out. Kaiser, you need to plug this Disquietude on here, please.
Oh yeah. I have a true horror podcast called Disquietude. We're back. We took a short hiatus because coronavirus is a bitch.
Man, listen.
Yeah, we delve into some interesting dark topics on that podcast, and we've got a pretty good following. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major podcast networks. If you just go to Spotify and search Disquietude, you'll see us there. So,
hey man, Kaza, I say this 100% affectionately, but to anybody who follows Disquietude and Kaza, man, Kaza's a nerd, and I say that affectionately. I love the guy to death, man. So if you have, if you want to channel your nerdy side, please check out Disquietude, man. It's great content, man. Absolutely. So.
And look, man, I just want to give a shout out to the Carolinas, man. Like, just the whole North and South Carolina is so fucking dope. Like, you got like, it's like you got Asheville right here. You got Charleston 4 hours away from Asheville.
Asheville is a really dope city, man.
It's
I like it.
It's okay for what you go for.
That's a better way to put it.
And then like you got like a Raleigh and a Charlotte and a Greenville, and it's all fucking dope, man. Just shout out to the Carolinas as a whole, man. Anything else before we head out?
I got one more thing before we head out, man. There is a show that comes on Spectrum called In Focus. Today it highlighted North Carolina hip hop. It will re-air at 8:30 p.m. tonight for anyone who wants to check it out, man. But it was highlighting everyone from Petey Pablo to J. Cole to Little Brother to Rhapsody. Again, just spotlighting North Carolina hip hop, man. It was a really good watch. So check that out if you can at 8:30 p.m. tonight.
Gotcha. Well, guys, look, man. Thank everybody in the crowd for watching. Thank everybody to like, share, subscribe. We hope you have a wonderful week, man. Peace and blessings. We're out.
Next week, fellas. Peace out.